Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. Sorry for the delay. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Rose is trying to get in right now. So while she is coming in, please make sure that you come in. Make sure that you say hello to both of us. She is on her way. I'm not sure what happened. Of course, we had time before, but she's not able to. Well, she's trying to get in. So thank you for being patient. Hope you all having a good week already. And tonight's topic, I'm going to have to figure out how to say some words without saying some words. Oh, there she is. Perfect. So I'm going to have to figure out how to say some words without saying some words so that my video don't get demonetized. Um, hey, Hilda. Also, I am Melanin Madam, of course. And then tonight is um, Twin Queen Power Tuesday. So if you like tacos, hope that's what you're eating. If you like tequila, take a couple shots, take one for me too. And then I will have Rose introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rashonda, aka Rose. How are you guys doing tonight?
I hope they are doing well. I'm just saying, it's been one heck of a day. People can't drive. I need to know why they get in the fast lane doing like 60 or on their phone. Yeah, I just cussed the whole way home, flying down the freeway, cussing all the way. It's okay. I ain't all the, I'm God is working on me. That's never probably gonna be fixed. He takes care of fools and babies. That's the area where I'm a fool. So tonight's topic is actually on the dangers of, what can we call it? We can call it the peach entry. So yeah, we'll call it the peach entry. So let me tell you guys, this topic came up because there was a meme. I'm following a marriage group, and there was a meme saying that the granny had told her that to keep her husband, give him something that I guess nobody else had given these days. That's kind of slim to none. But she said to do that, right? To give the peach entry or whatever. So right away on the thing, I'm like, I don't really think people know that there's dangers to this and stuff you're not supposed to do. Hence, that's why animals do it. But to each his own. I just think that it's fair to at least let people know that there are dangers. Like that's a red zone. So under that post, I made the comment and said, I hope you guys are ready for adult depends at 30 because you quite possibly will be wearing them. And either way, you guys are making all these sacrifices for men that aren't yours. So I think that's a little weird if it's not something you're into. So my first question is, Rose, would you ever?
No. No, I'm just not into that. I mean, everybody else that is into that, that's fine with them. I'm not judging you or nothing. I'm just not into it.
Okay,
and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it. I don't care if you my husband or not.
So, Bella Bell, unfortunately, I cannot say exactly what it is, but you know what the peach is. You know what that is. And you know what that entry is. So just jog your brain a little bit and think about that. It's not where things are supposed to go.
It's the other.
It's the actual reverse.
Yeah, the reverse.
Yeah, it's the reverse. Hey, fam. Right. That's a good
back
one.
Door. Yeah,
That's
door.
a good one. I'm like, what do we call it? Because I can't listen, honey.
How many of y'all in the comments are into that? And tell us how did you get into that and why, and what's the difference in the feeling?
So what I have heard is that while we're waiting for you guys to say so, I can't put that up on my screen. So what I will say that I have heard is that there's more, and you're a nurse, you could probably tell us, there's more nerves back there.
It is. It's nerve endings everywhere, but they just say you get it's a better sensation. But I don't know because I've never done it before. Right. I just feel like it's made for an exit, not entrance. So I have no idea what the sensation is.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So Bella, I can read the second part of what you said, and the feedback is good. You just have to know how to do it. Yes. That's what I've heard. It's a no for me. Yeah. Let me see.
But Bella, what do you mean you just have to know how to do it? What do you mean?
So that was one of the things, actually, Ro, while we're waiting, I'm going to read exactly what, if you just relax. So
it's not enough relaxing in the world for me.
It's not, because that's why I'm trying to figure it out, because for intimacy, it's usually more mental for women. And so if your first thought is being terrified, then I just don't see how you calm down. But if you're into it, then I do see how. If it's something that you're like, oh, I want to try, oh, I don't mind, I guess
tried it before. I actually tried it before, but I don't know. No, I don't like it. I think I would literally have to be on drugs to do that. Like, that's it. I can't get that relaxed to let something go inside. I can't.
No. So my favorite episode of the Kardashians, my favorite episode ever, is when Scott was like harassing Kourtney for like 3 or 4 shows to do that or whatever. I think it was after they had their first baby. So she was like, Kourtney is something is a hard stop, like it's no changing her mind. She's very set on what she's set on. And so her answer was no. And so one day when he came home, everything that he had said to her, she was following him around the house with a toy, with a toy, telling him all that stuff. Like, well, we have the same thing. We have the same thing. So, you try it. If you try it and, you don't pass out and you like it, then I'll think about trying it. He was so uncomfortable, turning red and all this other stuff. But the reality is that is the same. We have the same identical thing. So if that's something that, what do they say? How do you know you won't like it? Well, how do you know you won't like it, sir?
But it seems like nowadays a lot of more men is they're into doing that with females, and I just feel like that's gay.
I just feel like that as well. I also feel like you want
it's okay for you to do it, every once in a while, whatever. But if that's the only way that you want to have sex with a female, I feel like you gay. Like, that's not made for that.
No, it's not. Because there are medical implications, and I do have them in the description box. But if you think about it, that area is not, it is dry, and that area does not be undry. You have to make it undry, and you don't know if you're allergic to something. That's foreign. It's not supposed to go into that space, and so you get infections.
Well, they say they rinse it out or something first. I don't know what they do. That mess is nasty. And nowadays, I'll tell you, it's so many prolapse uterus because people is having anal sex so much.
Wait, it's so many what?
Prolapse. That's when literally your rectum, it can come out your booty hole.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Monitor your words. So that's what I'm saying. As a nurse, I know that you know that, because Gina was the first person to tell me that it was somebody when we was in our 20s. It was a coworker that she was in her 20s and she was coming to work and she couldn't hold it back there. So she was literally wearing a diaper in her 20s. Like, yeah, that's not cool.
They can't hold their bowel movements anymore. And then when it gets real bad, the rectum will literally come out. Like, literally come out to where you can push it back up in. But it's so common now because people is having sex.
Because people doing too much, putting just say nose up there. They doing all kind of stuff. And what I find interesting, and here's my question to all women: at what point do we say enough is enough? Because literally everything, if you really sit down and think about it, everything that is adventurous, that you're trying, that you're experimenting, because that's literally what you're doing, is on the woman. So at what point does a man do something that's uncomfortable? Because
they're not gonna do nothing uncomfortable.
That
They're
part
not
right
gonna
there,
do it.
I think that's insane. And you're doing it before you even get married. And what the only reason I say that is because right. So that also happens too. That was one of the things that's in the description box that came from the medical things that could happen is while that's happening, you can do that. And I knew somebody when I worked at the pet insurance company that her husband wanted to try it. She finally tried it and that happened. She was so humiliated. Like, it causes psychological damage as well. I think that's no, it's not extreme circumstances, it's common circumstances. That's the problem, is that people don't recognize it for what it really is. That's the problem. People need to actually realize that there is a big deal. There are more people in damn ER for that actual problem. It's actually a big deal. And psychologically, it's also a big deal. So what if you do it like in your 20s and you get married in your later 20s, but now you've ruined a part of your body for your husband? Because it's a gamble. Anything you do is a gamble. Is that really worth it? That's all. If it is, no judgment.
But sometimes I feel like before you get married, you need to get stuff out of your system. So if that's one of the things they need to do to get out of their system before they get married, then so be it. It's, to me, I think.
But what if your partner wants that? Why would you have to get that out of your system?
I mean, like the male? I'm trying to give a reason why. But
you mean the male? So
no, the male. I just don't know. I don't know. It's it's a lot of women that are into that, though. It's a lot of women that's into that.
That's why I say it's no judgment. I just need you to know what you're doing.
It ain't no judgment at all. I just
none, because everybody does something that somebody else is like, we eat things different, we do things different. Everybody is different. But
I think they have numbing cream though too now. I don't know. I think they got numbing cream you could put right there. They have a lot of stuff to help with it, so where it's not painful, but I don't want to do it.
I don't care to. But again, this is because, people say things like that is an extreme. I think so too. I think that it is because of dominance and control. That's what slave masters used to use to humiliate. That is what, to me, even if you don't want to go that far, the thing is, it impacts you psychologically. So however it impacts you, it could still impact you, or can it not impact you at all? But is that something you're willing to gamble? Because I'm thinking you must want an 11 or a 12-year-old.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you want something that tight, then you need to tell her to do some Kegels or something. Like, their private part should be enough for them. You should not always want to have sex back there.
Because that's what it was made for. And whether you clean it or not, see, males, if they do it, it's a little bit different because they don't have another part attached so close.
And that's what all the
completely different. You can get all type of bacteria whether you clean it or not, because you in the moment,
from one hole to the next hole.
And I believe that a lot of people do go from one thing to the next. But even if you don't, because fluids don't stay in one place, they move. So
so for the people that have done it in the audience, how do you go from the one part hole to the next part? Do you get up and let him wash it off and all that stuff and then do it, or like how does that work? I'm curious to know, because that's how people get BV and all kind of stuff like that.
Exactly. You get infections. These numbers aren't lying. And with numbers, you got to think about numbers for any circumstance. Numbers are the ones that are reported, not all of them. They're only the ones that are reported.
So, and now they're saying that AIDS it's rising in women now. It's not really in men. It used to be the number one thing for gay men. Now it's with women, straight women.
Probably straight women that are married.
It's on the rise now.
It's probably straight women that are married. So quick, I guess, PSA. Dear women, never stop getting checked for everything just because you got married. Thank you. Nope. I'll never forget the first time I went to the doctor row after I got married. It was, time to go or whatever. And I went and she was like, oh, do you want the full panel done. And then before I could even finish, she was like, "Oh, well, you're married now." And I was like, "What does that
That
mean?"
don't mean nothing.
Yeah, I was like, "What does that mean?" I think that, not that I was accusing him or anything, but still, the point of getting is so that you can get checked. Because what if there was something lying dormant in me before? Things take a while sometimes to show up also. I just think it's a good idea to make sure that you check yourself appropriately. And I think that some people are also not aware that infections don't show up in a PAP. They show up in blood tests. They show up in other things. And so people that's thinking that they're getting everything done, I think that when you are doing everything and you are exploring, you also need to just make sure you take care of your body. That's really the point of this particular show, is to make sure, or this topic, make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure that you know that tearing and ripping is not okay in that space. It's just not. You can't self-heal. You need to go to the doctor. You need to make sure that you're going for additional checkups. Like Rose said,
and even if you don't have insurance, you could go right down there to Planned Parenthood. Like, it's ways that you could do that. If you don't have a job or you don't get paid a lot, you could go to the county building and get their insurance down there. But if you don't want to do all that, just go to Planned Parenthood and at least get checked like at least 3 times a year or something.
I want quarterly.
Just at least, because you would be surprised.
And it's always better to catch something at the beginning. So if you do get something, it's better to catch it at the beginning. It's not to say you don't trust your partner. It's not to say somebody's not clean. It's not to say none of that, because things happen because you're doing extra things that fluids are mixing. That's just point blank period. So it's, if you're not okay with talking about that, I really don't understand how people are okay with doing things, but they're not okay about talking about it. They get offended if you say, let's go to the doctor together, or things like that. Like, it makes no sense. We see too much.
It was this one guy, he had said that he not wearing no condom, and everything that he could get, they have an antibiotic for it. Like, wow. Like, they got an antibiotic for everything. So
just so you know, guys, that's the one that you actually run from, and you be like, oh, okay, never mind. Your mama got an insurance policy? Okay. I'm just saying, everybody needs to be more responsible and take care of yourself, because the first thing, when you catch something, you're going to be crying, how did God do this to me? What happened? It's just that easy to just take the time to take care of yourself.
But it's just different nowadays. It's not, I think most of these people nowadays don't wear protection or anything. Like, they just out there.
Why do you think that is, that people have become so lax in a space where everybody is, a lot of people are,
what'd she say?
This needs to be a call-in topic because it's too much to text. I know. We are going to open it up to having calls, but it will be people that we already have seen acting appropriately in other conversations, because you legit cannot say certain words, and I'm not allowing you to mess up our not you, people, to mess up our platform because they get a little too excited. Because that
just say what you just say, some of it, what you have to say, just type it.
Let's see, what else could you do? I think I'm possibly start having call in on one of the business phones. I think we'll do that, but you still need to be screened first. But I do understand. So type it, and we will make sure that we go back to it. We generally don't forget. Even if we move forward, we'll remember and come back and address it, like we were just talking about that. So go ahead and type. We will wait. That I agree too. I don't feel like people is so many things to protect yourself. It seems like, because the more people started doing, the more antibiotics that came out, the more commercials, the more trying to put the knowledge out there. And despite that, you have people saying things like, oh, I'm not doing that, they have an antibiotic for it. They don't have antibiotic for everything. And why would you even want to get it to begin with? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you even want to go through that? And then if you that careless, I'm pretty sure if you got it and you like, oh, I could take an antibiotic for it, you probably gonna keep going. You're not even gonna like stop doing it. You're not gonna call all the people you're dealing with.
The antibiotics will stop working for you. Shit.
It's so that's a good question. At some point, because I was watching this show in England, and it was about party kids or whatever that be on Tinder and they swipe to go on a date.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one girl over there was she sometimes was 2 and 3 a night in the club, her mama begging her to stop, and then it was a male. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
The male that went in there and they like knew his name. He got his shot and he had a he the nurse told him, you have a girlfriend, why do you keep doing this? You need to call everybody and let them know. And it was just like normal to him. Like he was like, oh, okay, let me just pull down my pants, I'll take my shot, no big deal. I appreciate the honesty. So we will always wait for your
right. I was about to say, I knew we'd get banned messing around with you.
Right. We'll always wait for your comments.
Just type it, Jasmine.
I think so, because she's the only one with no sense. I think that it just doesn't make any sense. How are you? Who wants to pump that stuff into them so much? And then in 2 years, you're going to be talking about mesothelioma.
Yeah, when you on antibiotics, you can't drink or nothing. And the ones that's doing that is out there doing all that. So if you drinking and while taking your antibiotics, you're going to be feeling sick and all kind of stuff. Just wear a condom. I don't understand what the problem is.
I really don't.
The Tinder thing is that's what's really cracking. Now, I didn't know that either until I seen that, the Tinder thing. But just think, like right now, the Coachella is going on. They out there wild and free.
Acting.
They out there. So, and I think a couple of years ago at the Coachella, they had their herpes outbreak.
They did. They sure did. And remember the guy that was on that show, he kept going to raves. Remember, he kept going to raves and they kept like how many times can you
just think of all the big things that go on and people they get STDs and it just going wild. All the things like that. Coachella. What is another thing?
The raves.
The raves.
How do you meet somebody?
Because they be high and stuff. They be high. They high and wild.
Sober. Remember when she was packing her stuff, she was sober, and the mom was like, "Can you at least calm down on this holiday? You already had, whatever this amount of times." And what was it?
Well, she just has a problem. A person that do that is just that's just a problem. If you want to have sex with 5 or 6 people a day, like that's literally a problem. I could see if you was doing it with one person 5 or 6 times a day, but different men, like that's literally you have
that you don't even know, that you just literally
you never even know why that girl is like that. She could have got raped when she was younger or something. Something is off to make her want to do that to herself.
She said no.
But people be lying on TV. I think that people be lying on TV.
Yeah, because it could also be, some that have low self-esteem and want to fit in. It could go a lot of different ways of things that you do. I think she was doing it for popularity.
So if you got low self-esteem, you'll have sex with 6 different men in one day.
Because it's giving you attention. It's an adrenaline rush. I think that it was an adrenaline rush for her because that swipe or whatever, I think that is because she said it. She'll sit there and go through it all day and like
that must be funny to me because I just be like, that is crazy to me. But they young. That's why I said young people.
Find your date for tonight. I swiped.
Yeah, I really with young people, I give them a pass, but she doing too much. Like when you young, I swear to God, I feel like you're supposed to like live your life.
I do. If that's what you want to do, I do.
Yeah, you're supposed to live your life. So when you
run it down.
Yeah, once you get older, you could be like, I've been there, done that. I don't got to do
I
it. Get
do.
all that out your system. So
I
I
do.
feel like it ain't nothing wrong with that. Just like people that have their whole days or they whole
Absolutely. Because
whatever
if you ever notice,
seasons, they
if you
seasons.
ever notice those that have them younger, by the time they start to get to 30, they start to do like this and plateau. So they still have that drive, but it's to be with one person. They're ready to start
Yeah,
building
because
a
they didn't got
family.
it all. They didn't got it all out their system. Now, just think when people get married young, then they end up
Or
getting a divorce or whatever, or they didn't get to live out their little.
right. Or
Then
they
when they get
wasn't
older,
popular. They didn't
yeah,
get to live it out. And
they didn't get to
then
live it out. So
they
then
can't stop
now
cheating.
they doing all that. So that's why I said I don't think that is nothing wrong, but 6 people a day is that's kind of ridiculous.
That's
But if you
excessive.
want to have your little phase and do what you want to do, spreading it low and spreading it wide, that's on you. I think you need to
But
just
that's
get
a
do
lot
it.
of damage on your body.
Yeah, it is. She'll see when she get older. I would hope it just go for a couple of years and she be done, but she needs to get that out of her system.
She
All
does, but
young
she
people do.
actually needs to see a therapist because that's
Well,
excessive
yes,
as
that
hell.
too.
That one is
That too.
excessive as heck. And I'm sorry, I don't condone that one because so the reason why I'm saying this, I don't think I said it earlier, is that this particular one, her mom was literally begging her not to do it. And then she was like, well, could you at least use protection? And she was like, no. So that's where it's to the next step. You don't care about yourself or other people. It's like driving backwards on the freeway. You playing Russian roulette. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna do
Especially
that,
in
at
this
least
day
be
and time.
respectful.
Especially in this day and time. But that
Responsible.
goes back to even like the Freaknik and all that stuff that's about to come out. All those people that was out there doing all that stuff.
If people nervous, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
but
I was like,
my thing with that is it's so many, they said it's judges, politicians, lawyers, and all that trying to get that documentary banned because they feel like it's going to hurt their career. But my thing is,
it shouldn't.
it should not hurt their career because
I'm
first
not
of
even.
all, you
That's
did that when
crazy.
you did that when you was in college. That's not the
Right.
person you are today. So
Right.
whatever I did in college should not affect what I have
Right.
going on in my life right now. That I'm not the person that I was back then. I was in college. I'm supposed to do stuff.
I feel like the people that make certain decisions, even about this topic, and do certain things, if you do it and you're not comfortable with it, it's not something you want to do, then you do want to tuck it away and hide it in your past. Because I made it. It's nothing that I've done that I would be. There are things that are your private business, but if it came out, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm
I
gonna
don't
lose my
think that they
nonprofit.
probably I don't really think they embarrassed. I think that this is a cancel culture, and people would say, "Oh, this is a judge. Did you see what they was doing here? Or see what they was doing there? Let's cancel them." And then big corporations and all that, they feed off of people like that, and people lose their jobs all the time over stuff they did a long time ago. Just think of people that get on platforms and wrote something about the gay community or something 10, 15 years ago, and somebody just dig it up and be like, oh, look what they said 15 years ago, and they canceling them over something that they said years ago. So I feel like that's why those politicians and everything don't want it to come out, because they know it's a cancel culture now. That's what it is.
That goes back to not allowing somebody else to tell your dirt before you, because you got to think, have some of those people gotten to their place and got on a high horse and start talking down to other people like they've
Now,
never
if
done
they
anything.
did, yeah, now if
Because
they did
you
that,
get what I'm saying? I think that's what it's more about, because the ones that are, there's other judges, other lawyers, other teachers that's not afraid, because they're teaching their students, they're talking to people like, you could be a judge in front of somebody. We've seen it before. I've been there and done that. I don't want you to do this. Turn your life around, do better. I understand why this happened. Then there's those ones, I would never, and I don't understand. And then for that to come out, they're gonna be like, oh, you understand.
There on the cars. Man went out there on the cars. Well, it was a preacher that actually had said something about it, saying like how he was back at Freaknik in '88. Like if somebody wanted to judge him, he put his stuff out there. And I feel like people that first, but I don't feel like you don't have to tell everything you did. Not that you tucking it away. I don't have to tell you everything.
But
I
if
don't
that's
have
going to
to tell
come
you
out, I
everything.
would rather tell my narrative before
But you
somebody
never
else
know
does.
when it's gonna come out. You never know if it's gonna
But
come out.
that's
I'm
not
pretty
even
sure.
something that's a big deal, bro. Why would you be afraid of it other than if again you have been talking down on people? I'd rather just air my own stuff out. I'd rather, they could change their behavior. They could do whatever
Yeah,
so that
they
it
can.
don't hit as hard. But if it is somebody, I
That
just
look,
don't see what you would be so embarrassed about
I
something like
don't either.
that.
It's just yeah, because you had fun. I wish I was old enough to have went
Period. We
pregnant.
couldn't wait till we was old enough to be able to go, and then by the time we got old enough, it wasn't even like that. No,
It
it
wasn't
wasn't.
because I
You
sure would have been on somebody's video recorder. I know.
girl, Tootsie rolling in the
I
sky.
know I would
Listen,
have been. I know I would have been out there on some.
absolutely, absolutely, because you
But
should.
I'm in my 20s. In my 20s, that's what I'm supposed to do. So it's like I
You
don't
can
know.
do
I
it in
just
your
feel like
40s. You can do it whenever you want to. You're grown. If you want to do it in your 80s, if you want to do it in your not your, it's your life. You have one life to live.
but that's one reasons why they stopped the Freaknik though, because
Oh, why?
too many people were getting diseases, and then it was a lot of sexual assault cases. And basically because they
Oh,
were saying girls would dress a certain kind of way, and some guys feel like, oh, if you dress like that,
it's
you want the
inviting
attention and
with the
all that.
drinks and
So
stuff.
yeah, so that's the reason why they shut it down. But it wasn't even really posted when they said they started it. It wasn't even a bad thing. They said they named it Freaknik because of the Rick James song Freak, and they would do the
And
dance,
back
and
then, that was the dance, was the freak.
it was a dance, and they said it was a freak. So they just called it a Freaknik because it was a picnic. They said it wasn't nothing behind how it turned, but I think them naming it Freaknik made it like that. And then once
Yeah, you
it's
put the eye pop up, eye catching name.
yeah, and then they said at the end too, most of the people they said it started off with like 1,500 people. By the end, it was like over 400,000 people that would
You
come to
know
a dance.
that was hard to let go. Can you imagine? That was
This
a
man
lot
said
they
he
was
made so much
making.
money off of that, but they said that about time when they was starting to slow it down, most of the people there was not college students. It was like older people that was gang
Because
bangers,
they still
drug
kept
dealers,
going. They wasn't trying to
and so
let go.
it
That's
wasn't
why I
really
said if you want to do it forever.
yeah, it wasn't really the college students that was there, but there it was a lot of diseases and everything like that too. So that's why they stopped it. But then
So
after
once
that, just look
again,
how many
because things get
people.
out of control, because people
Yeah,
can't act like they have some sense. To me, sex is like a drug to some people. You literally can't, you act like you never gonna get it again. You never had it. You willing to go to jail, lose your life, get HIV, get herpes, have
but
your
I think it's the environment that
it's
sometimes
too
people
much.
are in. I really feel like it be the environment. You drinking or you high, smoking, and that makes
That's
your judgment is off.
right. I don't really see it with alcohol, but I do when and alcohol impacts different people. Alcohol impacts some people just like drugs, right? It can. Yeah. So I guess I could see it. Maybe they should have limited the amount of alcohol that they could have or whatever, because they show ain't stopped the Super Bowl cruise.
They haven't stopped the Super Bowl cruise, but they made that mess high. To go to Ensenada for 3 days is like $500-600. That's
Exactly. So if
ridiculous.
you change some things, it'll change who will come out.
Well, they thought they was changing it by making the prices higher, but they don't care. They still gonna pay.
Mm. Well,
The Super Bowl, the Super Bowl cruise used to be fun, but you knew what was going down on that.
yeah, that's
Like
why
you
I never
already
went.
knew.
I never went.
I went about 5 times. And the last time when I went with all my friends, I was like, I'm not going no more. Like it just was like just too much. But we still had fun. But
Yeah,
I was like,
you
I
went with your
can't do this
friends.
no more. Huh?
I said, yeah, because you went with your friends. We're gonna have fun no matter where we go.
Yeah,
But
but if it was just me by myself, I'd have been like, oh no, like that mess is ridiculous.
some stuff, I'm okay with things as long as some things just it be too out there in your face. Like I don't want to look over and see somebody um being intimate. I don't want to see that. Like I don't, because
But
that is
it depends on where you're at. let me think of something else that we had out here that was what was like that. Okay, like the Super Bowl cruise.
Jazz Fest?
No, Jazz Fest
No.
ain't like that. Oh, I
Okay.
could probably know. I was about to say Metro, but Metro wasn't. It
Oh
was
yeah,
ghetto,
Metro.
but it wasn't.
It was people in the parking lot getting it cracking, and it was people in the club getting it cracking because
Yeah,
that's
well,
what made
parking
me
lot.
not
Yeah,
go no more.
parking lot pimping. Metro used to be cracking though.
It did.
I
That
love Metro.
is.
I was sad when we had to stop going. I'm like, once they started tripping, no.
Yes.
But it's just nowadays, I don't think that people can really have as much fun as we did back in the days
Because
because it's
people
just.
do too much.
Mhm.
It was literally okay for us to go out, dance, have some drinks. If we with our friend group and we just dancing with our friend group, somebody may ask you to dance, but you didn't literally have to feel like if you said no, that you're going to get followed to your car. All this other stuff is going to happen. You're not safe. You're going to get snatched. Nothing like that. These days, people just feel like they could do whatever and they go to the extreme off of little things like that. So you just don't feel safe no more. It's
No,
about
you don't
feeling
feel
safe.
safe no more. That's why they got all these apps out now for people to do whatever they want to do. I just wish people would just be more careful with what they doing. If you're gonna do that, just be careful.
Yes.
Even when you get in another relationship with somebody, I feel like even before you have sex with them, and I know it might be hard, but you need to go get a full panel.
How
Like
is it hard? Jesus. Um, yeah, it's the assaults. It's too much. Um, I don't understand how it is hard to take care of yourself. How is it? So people will go out of their way to be in people's DMs going hard, trying to reach out, trying to do all of those things. Well, why are you in your waiting period? Go get. I don't understand. You put forth
because they're
all this
not gonna do that.
effort.
First of all, it's hard to get appointments nowadays. You can call a doctor
Oh,
right now. It's hard. A
oh,
person can call and try to see the doctor, and they be like, "Today it's April 18th. Oh, we don't got no appointments until June. We don't have no."
oh.
It's really like that unless you try to do same day appointments and all that. So it really is hard. But even it's
Okay,
just,
so no, it's not. So I'll say this. If you one of those people that, that you're doing things, your shit should be pre-scheduled anyway. Because remember earlier we said you should be going quarterly. So we're not gonna make excuses for people because if you
but
had a
most people not gonna do that. They're gonna
no,
go
they're
when they
not.
start having symptoms.
No, they're not. That's what we're talking about. Is the problem is that you going out of your way to do all of these other things, but you're not doing the primary thing, and that's making sure that you're okay. How I want to know, how would you feel if the doctor told you you had something you could not get rid of? How important would that condom be then? How important would that checkup be then?
It's too late then.
No,
It's
it's
too
not
late.
because nobody has nothing that they can't get rid of now. If you think about things in that way, is it really that important? Are you really going to be okay with looking your kids in the eyes and telling them that you may not be here? Are you really going to be okay with looking yourself in the mirror, knowing
It's
that
people that
all you had to do was
it's people that found out that they have AIDS and will still have sex with people unprotected. They
why
don't
is
care.
that, why is that not a
That's a
crime?
crime. It is a crime.
Oh, it
If
is.
they find out, yeah, that's a crime. If they find out, like if they if the person contacts aid and they find out that that person already knew, they will go to jail for that.
How come that one guy, that the famous guy that knew he had it and went around sleeping with people, how come he didn't was it Charlie Sheen?
Didn't he, I forgot what happened, why he didn't go to jail. But it is a crime now. It's a crime.
Okay, good. Do you think this opened the door conversations to Me Too movement? Mm. This
I
particular topic, not telling people what we're talking about right now, or the topic for the show? Which one, Juanita? Um, I think that it
because
is.
Yeah, I don't know, because with the Me Too movement, it would be like how we said the people was at the Freaknik and stuff, and the girls is wearing certain stuff, and then the boys are still harassing them because what they had on, and then they could be
Um,
like, "Well, I have this on. That don't mean that I wanted you to harass me, or that don't mean that I can wear what I want to wear.
and you
That don't
can.
mean that you're supposed to touch me."
Right. I'm wondering if what she's saying is, do we think that people finding out that they have certain things and knowing that it derived from somebody that possibly did not have permission? Um, I'm wondering if she's saying, is that what, do we think that that is a contributing factor to Me Too movement? If that is the question, then I would say yes, because if you consider how many people don't get checked, if they were like in their teens or something in the industry, they never told nobody, um, never mess with nobody, but then you get older and you do want to have your own family, something like that, and you go to the doctor and find out you have something and you know exactly who it's attached to, and you remember what happened. Um, I think that that can be a contributor, because now you realize that your life has been altered by somebody taking something from you, and they left you with something you can't get rid of. I would say that. Hey, did you guys hear that it's the 78-year-old lady that is taking Trump to court? He's actually involved in a civil case, so he can't plead the fifth. He can't not show up, nothing like that, because she was outside of a store in New York when he was shopping. He asked her to come in and help him pick a gift for his lady friend. She was the same size or whatever. She goes in the dressing room and he goes in there and does that to her. So now um, she filed a case, and in her filing that case, because it's a civil suit, she was able to include that interview that he did when that time he told about grabbing the, you know what, and then if anybody else is included, they can come on too as a part of the Me Too.
Ain't
Tonight,
nothing gonna
Tia,
happen to him. Ain't nothing gonna happen to him.
well, it's actually a civil suit, and this one is a big deal.
We'll
So
see. We'll see.
we'll
And even if something do happen to him, I think he'll still be able to run for president.
what?
All
Why?
the cases that he got right now, he's still able to run for president. He's still able to run for president. So he probably not even tripping off of this. And they still gonna have his back. So
I think that's a mess. I think that it's a real mess. I think that the appetite, the desire to do something new and different. I'll go back to what Nita said. I really believe it's attached to control and dominance. That it's not, I love you and I want to try this. It's, I really think it's attached to humiliation sometimes. I
but
really do.
a lot of women like it though. So I can't
I don't
really
care.
so you think it's still a form of that? If the
I didn't say
women
the
like
woman don't
it,
like it. I said I think that's why.
they want to do it.
Yeah, and I actually think that is probably a little less fun when the woman does want to do it. Kind of like if you go and try to take advantage of somebody, the thing that the attacker usually is what they want is the fight, the fear, the control, the being over. So when you actually do find somebody that really wants to do it, then my question is, why not stick with them? They're just as um willing to explore as you, so that's your perfect match. Why wouldn't you
No,
just stay with them? You
nobody still
know,
didn't put in the comments how do you clean and all that stuff. Does anybody know? How do you clean when you go from one part to the next part?
yeah, like how does that session go? um I'm very interested to know too, and I thought that it was going to come up. We have like 10 minutes left, ladies and gentles. um Somebody answer us, because
Somebody tell us. We
I
want to
didn't find that answer. I didn't find that answer because it said consult your physician.
It's just, I don't know. I just feel like whatever float your boat, but I would like to know how they clean it and go to the next, you know.
Oh, that's a good question.
What would she say?
So, remember the first question is, do you think this um, open the door conversations, re the Me Too movement? And then she was saying she's talking about the assaults and possibly the Freaknik.
Yeah.
Was that
It
around the same time? I wonder if that's the same time the Freaknik was going down like this and Me Too started coming up.
It could be because
It
a
could
lot of
be.
a lot of women were being assaulted. A lot.
Really?
Just off of what they was wearing. Just think they was wearing bathing suits and stuff out there. Bathing suits are just, I mean, basically the stuff that girls wear now to the club. That's what they was wearing at the Freaknik.
But was that like the theme? Kind of like, in Carnival, you wear
But
basically
Carnival
nothing
is different.
sometimes.
That's a whole different.
Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
asking. Is it like that? Like, what is it?
No, they just wanted to be fast because everybody wasn't
Oh,
dressed like that.
you supposed to wear like picnic clothes, like maybe booty shorts, something like that, but not
No, you just
to
dress
that
however you
extreme.
want to, but just think you knew you was gonna be seen
And
if
at
you was
night,
dressed, if you was dressed like that.
and it went into the nighttime, right?
It was for 3 days.
But was it
For the
just during
whole,
the day, or it went to nighttime also that you would be
yeah,
out there?
from the morning until night.
So, ladies,
All day for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I'll say this too. It is my opinion that yes, the reality is we should be able to do whatever we want to do, and I think so too. Condoms should always be used for that type of activity. If you're gonna, that would be the way to be clean, but you still have to, because fluids move, so you still have to
Okay, yeah. So when you,
stop
even if
in the
you're
middle.
wearing
But I would think that too.
if you're wearing a condom when you're in that part, do you take that condom off before you go to the next part and put another one on? That's what I'm saying. Like, how does it work? I would think that's how it would work. You would take
I would
that one
think so
off.
too. I would think that you would actually like clean up so that if there was bacteria that moved, you could move it. Yeah, I would think so. I think so too, Mom. Um,
For each activity. See, that's too much. I no. I'm just not gonna ever do it. That's
oh
just
my gosh.
too much.
Oh my gosh. So I think that if you are going to be out, do anything, the reality is, yes, as Black people, we should be able to live like everybody, but we can't. I think that as women, you should be able to do X, Y, and Z. However, to protect yourself and to be safe, it's a time and a place for everything. So I think to protect yourself is just in the best interest not to do certain things, because people are nuts. People are crazy. People, they're going to do what certain things is just the devil's playground. With anything, anytime there's a place where there's drinks and all these things involved, I think that you need to consider the climate, where you are, and all of that before you do it. You're not at the beach, and heck, even at the beach, by the time night come, you done covered up. So is it a reason to? No, I'm saying it as like a little safety tip, measure, call out. I knew eventually it was going to evolve into that, because unfortunately nothing can really stay that is like that. I don't know what to call, like, that's so open, that's so hood. Those things usually do die down, because somebody always gonna be out of control. You got that person that ain't been out and been waiting since last year to come back. They done been in jail. They've been waiting to go there because it's like a cesspool to them. It's like a candy shop, especially to people that are sick in their head. So
I would just say that everybody, needs to just be careful out there nowadays. It's not worth it. That whatever 30 minutes, 5 minutes of pleasure is not worth you having a disease that you can't get rid of. Or even if you can get rid of it, that ain't worth you have to be on antibiotics anymore. So if you can just wear a condom, they got so many condoms out there now that you could put on. Like it's very easy. Unless you're gonna wait until you guys get all your lab work back. I think it's just right now I'm telling you, they saying women are getting AIDS more now than men. Now, and that's crazy. Just think how BV is going around, and they say that's not a sexually transmitted disease. And to this day, I don't understand how it's not when you get it from a man, because 9 times out of 10 they're having sex with another woman, and they're messing up your pH. Y'all pH don't match because he having sex with another woman. So then you got BV. You got to be on antibiotics. He has to be on antibiotics. And if he don't, he gonna give it right back to you. So how is that not a sexually transmitted disease? It's just too much stuff. You might as well just wear a condom now. Like you might as well wear a condom.
I'm just gonna join the sanctuary, and I'm gonna be Sister Mary Clarence.
And it don't matter if you married, because the married ones
I
really
keep saying
out
that.
there. They be the main ones out there in the streets.
And
so
even if they not, the point is just to be careful and just to make sure. That's just the point. The point is just make it a normal practice to do it. That way you make sure that you okay, because it's other things that could happen. Good night. We're wrapping up too. It's other things that could happen. It's not just things you can't get rid of, but women, there are other things that could impact your reproductive system that are bacteria and things like that. And that's simply from you not doing the things that you're supposed to do, or
if you
changing your body.
You can have a syphilis and all that stuff and not know. And that can mess up your reproductive system, because you don't have no symptoms or anything. So you not knowing when to go to the doctor, and when you do, it's already too late. So that's what I'm saying. I just wish everybody would just at least try to be more aware, or wear condoms if you can. Like it's a cold world out here. It's a cold world.
It's cold in these hills. So I guess that's our ending thing, honey. It's a list of things, and you can Google it on your own and find out what they are. I did put the top 5 in the description box below, and then you can have this conversation with your doctor, because perhaps they could tell you the safest way to do it. Sometimes your doctors know what things you're more likely to get, stuff like that. So just have that open conversation. If you feel like you can't have that conversation, or, oh, I'm not doing that, then please explain to me how you doing the deed if you can't have a conversation, and you can't have a conversation with the person that you're doing it with.
Or even if you don't want to talk to your doctor, they have nurses hotlines. You could talk to a nurse.
Sure do. Where you don't even have to.
Yeah, you don't even have to talk to the nurse. You can talk to the nurse on the phone.
You sure can. But I still don't understand if you could do all of that, why you can't. Oh shit. Okay. Make sure. Thank you all for coming tonight. Ro, you want to do the toast? You want to toast us out?
I'll toast to everybody being more careful out there and getting checkups more frequently. It's cold out there in the streets.
Cold in these hills, and everybody don't handle things appropriately. Y'all done seen them stalker shows where people come back. Snapped is real. I'm just saying. Everybody don't take things lightly. So that is it from us tonight. Don't forget to join us next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and we will have the topic as soon as we pick it. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure that you share it, like, comment, and subscribe to Melanin Madam. Don't forget to click the bell so you will know when we're coming. And
have a blessed night. Have a blessed night, everybody.
Tonight.